friends, welcome back to No Ma'am. It's Valentine's Day, and while the straights are out buying roses, the gays are blocking, ghosting, and trauma bonding. Today we're joined by the hosts of Live, Laugh, Loads, the podcast where gay men talk about dating, vulnerability, mental health, and why we all somehow keep falling for the same emotionally unavailable man. But before we get into all of that, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single episode of No Ma'am. Welcome, Dario and Ryan, to No Ma'am. How you guys doing?
Hi, Will. Doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm running solo today because someone decided to babysit his niece. And yeah, that's how it is.
Trust me, I know about sassy children, so I get it.
Like, he wants her to go to bed, and she's like, no, ma'am. She's not doing it.
No,
at
ma'am.
all. It's like,
Okay, so
No.
that's where we have a clip that cuts to niece going, "No, ma'am."
no, ma'am, right?
No,
That's gonna be her
ma'am.
first words. I guarantee you, it's gonna be her first words. As much as Jhoany always says "no, ma'am" in that house, I guarantee you it's probably gonna be her first words. So
Amazing.
That is so funny. I'm so excited to be here. This is the first time that we're actually guests on someone else's podcast. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty honored. So thank you for inviting us.
yes, of course, of course. This is a long time in the making because we were supposed to do this a long time ago, but obviously schedules and all good, right? We love talking to other folks in the podcasting world, especially others in the queer podcasting world. I think it is such an amazing opportunity to be able to do so because you
Yeah.
learn so much and from different experiences. And
Yeah.
I think it's we always have fun. So
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
So excited
So
to
we
be
have
here.
yes. So we have an icebreaker, and it's called Love, Lust, or Leave Him. So I'm going to give you three gay dating archetypes.
Okay.
And so you say, who do you love? Who do you lust? And who do you leave?
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is emotionally available guy who isn't your type. Then we have the hot guy who never texts back. And then we have the funny guy with commitment issues. So who do we love? Who do we lust? And who do we leave?
Oh my God. I think I'm super clear on this one. Should I go first, Ryan?
I
do you
feel like our answers are likely going to be the same, but yeah, please feel free to go first. I'm curious if there will be differences.
Okay, so the guy that doesn't text back, I have to leave him right away because my anxiety will just shoot out of the sky and it would not work. Like I would just be a mental breakdown consistently. Remind me the other two.
The emotionally available guy who isn't your type. And then it's the funny guy who has commitment issues.
You made this really hard. But the next thing, the one that, okay, go ahead, Ryan. Hold on, give me a second.
I think we're likely going to be loving, emotionally available, even if he's not necessarily our
Yeah.
type. And then
Yeah.
we're going to lust after funny
We're
who
gonna-
has
yeah.
commitment issues.
Yeah, that's correct. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to say. Because the one with the lasting, so we last usually with the unavailable ones because they create that inconclusive loop in your brain. You wanna fix it. You wanna reach for it. You wanna like get it, and they're not available, and so that creates that addiction, like that desire. And so we're absolutely gonna be lusting over that one. Unfortunately, like the healthiest ones are the hardest one to actually get into because it doesn't play on our trauma and our triggers, and our unhealthy behaviors.
This is
Yeah,
true.
it doesn't raise your blood pressure or your heart rate as much, so...
I mean, I think like we're all in agreement. Yes, that's kind of how we would place all of them. So that's good. I always find it to be interesting, right? The hot guy who never texts back. And I'm like, what do I do in this situation? Do I just keep texting or do I just let him go? I don't know.
No, you
We
have to
are-
stop. You have. Yeah. It's. I think like I don't like the ghosting. Like if they cannot communicate exactly where they are, I think like it's definitely elevating your self-worth not to text them back and just kind of like be like, okay, we're done with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that's the one who ghosts you. Have you ever ghosted someone else?
I'm super anti-ghost, even to the point where when I was on the apps, like I was really against not responding to people. Certainly, we all have our lives and we get busy and we
Mhm.
can't respond to every single message that we get. But for example, if you've messaged me twice and I didn't respond to the first one, I'm absolutely going to respond to the second one, even if it's just to like politely reject you because I'm not interested for whatever reason. I am very much like, let's normalize rejection not being this super hurtful, painful thing, especially when it's so surface level.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very much, let's just tell me you're not interested. I don't fucking care. There are so many people out there. I'll find someone.
Yeah, I'll refocus my energy. Yeah, I don't think I have ghosted. I have let things fade when it just feels like it's a mutual thing where, like nobody reached out today and it just kind of sort of fade off. If I see that the energy is going in a different direction of where I wanted it to go, like if it's more of a friendship, because that's also like what we navigate with gay men, I think more often than not than, in the straight world, it's like there's always this kind of potential because it's, men on men. And so I try to redirect those energies clearly. And if I see that they're, crashing, or if they're like just too many mentions of like handsome at the end of a sentence and I don't want that. Like it's like, hey, let's keep going with this, but I would like it to be more platonic. And I always invite them to game night as a way to say, hey, like if you want friends, we have this thing that we do and you're invited, right? So
well,
I love that.
And as we've learned, Dario, if they're calling you handsome, they're not your type. You need somebody who's calling you cutie, right?
Well,
have you heard about the handsome cutie theory?
No, we need to wake this up. Let's wake this up. You gotta tell me more.
So the theory is that if they call you handsome, they want you to top them. And if they call you cutie, they want to top you. And in both of our experiences, it's 100% true.
It is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Is it because handsome is more, dominant of a name?
I almost think it's well, yeah, it's probably dom sub, but I also think there's like a masc femme, top bottom. I think there's a lot of layers of society and culture built into that.
Into those words? Yeah. I honestly, it's just gay low. Like if they call me cutie, it's a match. And if they call me
your
handsome,
back just arches a little bit instantly.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Now that you put it that way, that does make sense.
Yeah, so, I think so.
It actually makes sense. Look at us. Like the doors we have opened, you guys, on
gay
the pod
science.
Right now. Right. So tell us, how did this podcast come about? And where does the name come from? Because I think your name for your pod, it is the greatest.
So this podcast came about. It's actually I owe a lot to Ryan. Like it was in my mind for a very long time. I remember years and years and years ago, like just being like, oh, I really would like to start, a podcast, but in my head it just never worked. Like I just didn't want to go on camera with a microphone and just try to impart wisdom. Like that wasn't the format that I wanted. Like I wanted to make it fun. I knew for a fact that there wasn't a lot of gay podcasts that I resonated with, or that they were talking about the things that I wanted to hear. It's just something that was alternative, something that is like in the healthy path of like people that have done the work, people that have gone to therapy, people that wanted a different experience than just going, clubbing and doing a bunch of drugs and being in the like sassy, I'm gonna be mean on online apps, and I was having such a struggle with the online apps and finding community and finding people that just had the similar brainwave. And Ryan and I met in an app. We went to work out. Like that was our first kind of sort of hangout. We just kind of worked out and we sort of on and off, like just touch base for a while. And then one day, in my personal account, Tattoo Gate, I always post a bunch of like just self-help, psychology stuff, anything that helps me. I was trying to post it to this one account where like I have so many gay followers. And I remember a message from Ryan being like, hey, you should start a men's group. I was like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna do that. Like, I just don't want to be in front of me, like imparting any, like, I don't know if I have figured out anything in my life, like that's all I know. It's like, I have been better for myself, but like, I don't know if like my experience can help others specifically. But it kind of sparked an idea. And so I told Ryan, I was like, hey, I've been thinking about the podcast. I would do it in this format. Like I would talk about these things, with you if you want to join me. And Ryan was like, yes, let's do it. It was like a no-brainer for him. And so that's kind of how that part came about. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's put a script together and see what happens,
And I think we are like at a year of kind of like officially starting, because we kind of officially started in January of last year.
This year.
But yeah, I would say it's like 70% Dario's baby and 30% my baby. I mostly support. I feel like a support. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see it that way. I think it's our baby.
Well, I guess I think in regards to, as Will and I were discussing, you guys are the same people, and me and Jhoany are the same people in that like I more show up and like help figure out the ideas, whereas like you lay out the original groundwork, you manage the software and the posting and all the stuff like that.
I mean, logistically, but it's also like in my wheelhouse, like I work in tech, I'm in technology. So, the first time that Ryan and I got together, figuring out how to use mics, how to use software, how to do the sound. After that, it took us like I think like our first episode was like 3 months long just to try to get it out.
I feel like our first day of like working on recording was like 9 hours or something like that. It was insane.
And then, and so in that time about the name, you asked us. We had a couple of ideas. I remember many, many years ago, I was like talking to a good friend of mine, and I came up with this idea of Live, Laugh, Loads, because we were making fun of like white people and like the obvious, live, laugh,
love.
I almost forgot what the real.
Can't even remember the original anymore.
That
thing that straight people say,
and like we were talking about like the chic farmhouse decor, like a lot of these people, and he's very white, he's in Michigan right now, really good friend, one of the ones that I will give him like a badge of honor. And we were just like shooting the shit, and like I just came up with this like thing. It's like, instead of the Live, Laugh, Love sign on your house, you should put one that says, Live, Laugh, Love. And I eventually made it because like it was like planted in my head. But we had some other ideas, and what we did, we actually put it out to a vote to all our followers in our original accounts. And we have some other ideas that we thought that might resonate a little bit better, or that felt like it was going to be a little bit funner. And then overwhelmingly, people just absolutely loved this combination of words, so we went with it.
And it was actually Dario and I's last choice. So Dario had like his preferred choice that he put into the poll. I had my preferred choice that we put into the poll, and then we both agreed that Live, Laugh, Loads was like the most like neutral, sensical choice to make. So we were like, we have to put it out there. And then like you said, I think each of ours got like 1 or 2 votes, and one of those votes was each of us, and then everybody else voted for Live, Laugh, Loads.
Love
and
that.
It's funny because we didn't want to be overly sexual, because even though we talk about sex in our podcast, like I didn't want it to be the same label that every gay theme has, which is like sex, obviously that's what makes us who we are, but at the same time it's just like secondary for us. But I think it works, people get it right away, they always get a laugh out of it. Someone asked me at work what the name of my podcast was, and I was like really embarrassed to say, I was like, but
the
just
same
think
thing
about
happens to me.
Just think about it like, like taking a load off, like just you've been carrying for so long, so lots of fun, like that's the type of loads you should be thinking about.
I love that. I feel like we had a similar path here with No Ma'am. It was a love child of mine.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at a bar, we was watching Drag Race at a viewing party. There's something about seeing Drag Race at a viewing party in a bar with everybody else around you it just brings out the show even more. But we're sitting there and I'm like, I really want to talk shit. Like, I want to talk shit. Like, that's normally how things happen. It's like, I want to talk shit. I want to throw some shade. I just want to talk about things. I have a lot of opinions. And so Jhoany's next to me, and I'm like, Jhoany, you want to go on? You want to start a podcast? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm really serious right now. So while the show is going, I'm on my phone and I'm just writing names down. I'm like, no shade, no ma'am, all this stuff that we normally say together.
Yeah.
And no ma'am just kept coming to me. And I was like, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. And he was like, that's it. Like, you have to go with your gut. So I did. And I was like, we're going to do this. So I created the Instagram. I created the email address. I was just doing everything. I'm like, if we're going to do this right now, we're going to do this right now. And
That is so funny.
I was like, I need merch, because if I didn't buy things that had no ma'am, then I wasn't going to do it. So I said, we just need to do this. And then also, you mentioned something very important. It was talking about things that you resonate with. And so for us, right, like two queer people of color, it was really important for Jhoany and I to build our own table. Because we watch Drag Race, and that's a big part of queer culture. But our stories, how we view the show, is a little different than maybe somebody who doesn't look like us. And so we take that approach to our pod, and we take that approach to our reviews and our recaps. It's more of like, what did we think about it? We sometimes go against the grain. Everybody's like, oh my God, that queen is amazing. And we're like, she's not. She's actually really bad. She's not going to win. And everybody's like, okay. And so we became the odd one out. And so we wanted to talk about that on the pod. So I think I think it's really interesting how that's normally how our podcasts actually start. So
I think it's so healing, though, when you do that, because then you also realize that you're not alone. And I think that was the biggest, most healing part of putting myself out there and being like extra vulnerable about myself, my personality, like the things that I love, the things that I don't love, because I felt almost like an outcast within our own community for so long. It's like, oh, I don't like to do these things. I don't have affinity for the things that most gays like. And it felt very lonely, and it felt like I didn't want to resent the culture. I didn't want to resent what other people loved. But I also wanted to find my own people and find my own voice and like being able to express that. And I think like once we did and we started, getting feedback, and we, like I still do, like every time I get an email or a comment, I get teary eye. I send it to like a screenshot. I send it to Ryan. It's like, look, we touched someone somewhere, like there's another person that resonates with this. And it's so healing for gay people in general, just to be able to find,
Yeah, I relate to that so much. Like, I think of like our episode where we dive into therapy and our experiences, and like putting out into the ether like a traumatic experience that I went through, and just like how healing it felt to just kind of like be able to talk about it on this like platform where other people could also maybe connect to it in some way, shape, or form. And I almost like at this point like look forward to opportunities to be vulnerable like on camera, sort of, because it does that. Like it takes it out of your body and makes it less chaotic feeling.
So speaking of episodes, what has been your favorite episode so far?
Man, that's hard. I don't know. I almost want to say our first episode.
So the first episode was the most thrilling. We talked about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's really funny now, because anytime that I go on a date and someone knows about my podcast, like they literally just learn so much about me just by listening to one episode. And I was like, I'm transparent. This is it,
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the one that we did in queer media recently. It was a little bit of a different tone, because for so long we just talked about our own like very serious topics, like our own journeys, like the app mentality, like gays in apps, dating and sexuality. And the queer media one just felt a little bit lighter, where it's just like, oh, let's talk about like what's out there, outside of ourselves, and what we've been exposed. And I think it also kind of plays off with all of the other themes, is because we have this very limiting role models, that maybe like also affects how we interact with each other and how we, treat each other. And so, but I really liked it. And we've been getting a flood of like new queer artists that reached out based on that episode. Writers, poets. We have a doctor in Shame that wants to come on the podcast, and so we've been vetting
comedian local that we're gonna meet up with.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's coming up as well. And so I think like that one really touched people and kind of made them feel like, oh, we have a space here, to sit at the table as well. And I'm so happy that that's happening. Like that it's just finally, feeling that people wants to participate and come and talk with us, because like you guys, like I think we want to share what's out there in the queer community.
And Dario and I keep laughing about the irony of recording an episode about poor queer representation in media. And then like immediately after, heated rivalry becomes such a fucking blowout.
Yeah.
And we both agree that it was exactly what we wanted. Everything that we talked about that we wanted in like queer storytelling like was provided to us in heated rivalries.
We recorded it like on a weekend, and then like the next
weekend I'm
texting
you. I'm like, have you watched this yet?
Yeah, which has, it has me in such a hole right now. Like, I just can't stop with the memes and the cuties and the stories, and like I'm just loving all of it.
Speaking of that, I actually never got on the heated rivalry train.
Okay, tell me more.
Yes, I have a problem with it for a couple of reasons. Okay. And I said this on my solo pod. So I have a pod with Jhoany and that's great. And then I have a solo venture, which it really just talks about stories that resonate with me, being Black, being queer, that I get to just unleash to the world. Yeah. And I think it's great. But one, I think it's anytime that we can have a show that is a part of the queer community, I think it's great. So on one part, I appreciate heated rivalry. The other part I take issue with is that I saw a lot of people saying, well, if we had shows like this growing up, it would have made it easier for us to come out. And a part of me is I agree. But also, there wasn't any people of color in a relationship on the show. And so I look at it from that perspective. It's always the erasure of Black queer representation in shows like that. Could have one of those hockey players been Black? Could one of them have been Latino? And would that have changed the story? Or is it so polarizing because it's two white queers kissing on screen? And I think sometimes we also need to realize that there is a part of the community that is missing. So I can watch a show. I can watch a show for what it is and enjoy it, but I can't see myself in that story or feel like, oh, hey, like this is going to be for me because there's no one who looks like me. And so that's kind of like where I couldn't really get into the show like other folks.
I mean, I think that makes perfect sense. Like, if you can't see yourself, I think that I have a couple of thoughts because my first thought is I think just generally the issue is like just not enough representation across the board for queer people. Of all, and then all of the subsets that come under that you would connect to other than queerness. So unfortunately, it's like we just don't have enough for everybody to be able to relate to, I think is just generally the problem. But I absolutely see what you're talking about in that, like, there's certainly not a great, like, you have Hudson Williams, who's Asian, so you have like some color in there, but everything else is white. So I can 100% see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I had shows like Noah's Ark. Like Noah's Ark was a really
I
great...
remember Noah's Ark so much.
Noah's Ark was amazing. It was the first time I saw healthy two Black queers together, and I saw what a healthy relationship could look like from us and our community.
Oh my god! And they were so hot.
Yes, right. And
I feel like they were so hot. Yeah,
they were. Child, tell me about it.
Oh my god! I remember. I'm like have all of these flash of their sex scenes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember like the main character who was like kind of femme, and he just had a great fucking body, beautiful hair.
We had Wade, who was like the straight one at the time.
I can't believe I forgot about that show.
And so because it was popular, but it was very niche, right? So like it would come on Logo sometimes, but that's the problem, right? Yeah. Like we just need to now put that in mainstream because that was an amazing story and had so much potential. Only got 2 seasons and then got canceled. And it was like, okay, what happened, right? So we
talked a little bit about that, right? Like how can, this stories can reach more people, because obviously at the end of the day, this is still a business. They're trying to reach as many people as possible. I think we got really lucky that like all the straight women are like gushing over like heated rivalry. And I think that that's kind of like what really adds to the success of it, because if it's just the queer community and within that a subset of the queer community that might be interested in this type of stories, then it doesn't make sense for business. And so that's, I think, beyond also racism and beyond bigotry, there's also that aspect of it, right? Like how can like this stories reach a lot of people? And I think like the fact that it was written by a woman, that's probably also why it's helping, women resonate with it. And so I wonder if the problem is also that we don't have enough material and stories coming directly from the people that need to be writing those stories, and that there are, people like you that have those stories, or people like me that have a story from the Latino community. Yeah, it's but I absolutely relate, and I think that we do need more representation, and we need more stories, and we need more diversity in general, in all our stories. Personally, what I liked is that it had a happy ending, and I think that that's what we were talking about so much. It's like, I'm just happy that it wasn't a tragic story, because I was on the edge on the last episode. We were watching it together, and I was like at the end, just like, oh no, something bad is gonna happen, and like my whole cellular body was just getting ready for something awful to happen. And when it didn't, that was the moment that to me it healed something within me. That, and also having good parental figures receive their relationship, and I was like, oh my god. Like that
Yes.
also is not seen a lot in media in general. So yes, there's a lot of holes and there's a lot of gaps. I do take the small wins when we do get the small wins. But definitely the work is not done, and the stories have not all been told, and we should definitely have more of those.
Yeah. So that brings me to my next question. It's because I too thought it wasn't going to end happy. And I think, we all could like trauma bond over this. I think we need to unpack that later. But I think it goes with this. It has to do with hookup culture. And so do you think hookup culture makes it harder, right, to really form emotional bonds? Because yeah, there's an element of there's some really hot sex scenes in there, but somehow deep down we all was like, this is not going to end well because it's
Right.
going too good and somebody is going to do something to mess this up. And I think it happens because of hookup culture. We're so used to that.
Oh my god, I have so much to say about this. First of all, I want to clarify that I think it's specifically to Hero Rivalry, that main storyline is toxic as fuck. Those two guys,
Yeah,
need
we
to
all
go to
agree.
therapy. Like I don't romanticize any of that story, at all. I think from the very beginning, I'm like, it ended really well, but I was like, this is fucked up. These people need to be vulnerable. They need to go and figure out the trauma first of all, and then like be honest with each other and be clear with each other and release whatever bullshit they're carrying. So
yeah, the first most beautiful moment is when Rozanov, entirely in Russian, is super vulnerable to what's his name, who doesn't understand him at all. Like that's the first really beautiful moment, and it's like, okay, it took you 9 years to be able to do this with this person. So yeah, we both agree that it's not a blueprint at all.
It's not a template. Yes. This doesn't happen in real life. If you have the same issues that these people have, you're just not magically going to end up in this like riding into the sunset, car ride. Like that's not how this is. Go and do the fucking work if you want to have that type of relationship, because they are not compatible. This is a romanticization. This is fantasy. This is fiction. This is not real life. And it's funny because I was on Threads the other day and I screenshot this for Ryan, and there was like one gay writing on the Heated Rivalry thread, and he was like, I feel so sad when I watch this because I can't have this. Like, I want to have this. And I'm like, yo, this is not real life. You're not going to have that. That doesn't happen like that. Like, this is the rom-coms that, a lot of women romanticize as well. And then they create all this drama in straight relationships because it's not real life. Like, guys don't act that way. You need to be real, with, what a human can and cannot do, and everything that we don't really see through the screen. Like, there's deeper stories, right? And so that's my first beef. But back to your question, I do believe the hookup culture have fucked us up as a community. And I think a lot of us have confused the sexual liberation movement, the sexual freedom movement, with like promiscuity, and we have lowered our standards of how we treat each other in the name of like sexual freedom. And I don't agree that that's actually healthy for any of us. And I think like sex, as many other things, can become a numbing and an addiction. And if you don't keep it in check, if you don't know what you're masking by using sex as a regular tool, like diving into every single one of your desires and following that desire consistently without actually checking in on what you really need and what hole you need to fill. And it's not that one, like
so many holes to fill.
So many.
Like you gotta check all your holes. It's like, where is this hole that I'm trying to fill, and what do I need it to fill it with? And like it's more often than not, it's something else that you're missing. Is your either community or touch or connection or depth or growth. And those things are not being talked about. I think it's just easier to just like, well, let's just put a band-aid on it, and ignore it.
Yep.
Yeah, and just to like add more to that, and unsurprisingly, I have like a kind of like food related analogy. Like I feel like there's in the gay community kind of we've generally traded in like fine dining for like fast food stuff. Like we want the convenience, we want the quick hit. We don't want to spend lots of time or energy because of like a fear of like it not working out or rejection and like wasting time or whatever your primary reasons to like avoid connection might be. And it's so accessible to us as well that it, I think, has caused a lot of people to forget about like how much, at least in my opinion, obviously everybody is different, but like how much better and more interesting sex is when you have like intimacy and connection.
Yeah.
Like I've always struggled with like hookup culture. I went through a little phase where like I found a system that kind of worked for me, but it was like completely disconnected and ultimately like not super satisfying. And like now dating somebody again and having this really beautiful connection with this person, like it's just like wow, like it's just a totally different experience. Like the hit is so much better. It is so much more gratifying. It makes you feel so much better. You don't feel empty afterwards. And like you're still like you have to go get more. And I think like that's also a part of the hookup culture thing is that there's this like cyclicalness to it where you get stuck in like I want connection. I want to fill a hole and I'm filling the wrong hole. And so I got to keep going and I keep looking for it and I keep trying to find it and I keep like getting let down.
Right.
So I certainly 100% like hookup culture has made it like hookup culture and the accessibility of it has really, I think, kind of skewed our ability to just like connect with people.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's easier to find someone on an app, right, than it is to potentially find your boyfriend in Starbucks.
But and then also almost to that point though, I almost feel like I guess I in some ways sort of like disagree with that, but maybe that's again because of how what I'm bringing to the table when I go to the app is like I felt like I struggled so much to like meet up with people because I don't want this quick NSA. Even when I'm trying to do like the hookup thing, I'm still like, let's meet for a drink and like chat for a little bit, like come over and hang out with me so we can like I need to like vibe check and like get into you. And that is so hard because people ghost, people don't respond to your messages, people just block you left and right, people say they want to meet up and then disappear or whatever. Like there's no authenticity or respect on those apps.
Reciprocity,
so it feels like almost more difficult. And I had like a not normal experience then when I switched over to like Hinge to try to like find something a little bit more connected. Literally the first day I downloaded Hinge, the very first person I matched with, 6 months later he's now my boyfriend. So like it's just like when you have two people who are actually genuinely interested, like I feel like there's this passiveness to like apps like Grindr where like gay people just feel like some sense of obligation to be on them and there's no intentionality there. So when you switch to like a platform where there is some intentionality, it just like changes the landscape so much.
I don't know, it's yes and no, Ryan. I think like I am the same person whether I'm on Grindr or whether I'm on like Hinge. Like my values and my expectations and the way that I treat people and my goals don't change regardless on which app I am. They might change seasonally, but they don't change like, you know, from one app to the other if like my focus is one thing or the other. But I do agree on the intentionality, right? Like I have my intentions and I try to fix what I don't like from the responses that I get in those apps. And, you know, I do bring the kindness and I do bring like a message and like at least I'm like, if I'm not into you, I'm still going to honor you as a human being and I'm going to give you an answer as if we were in the club and you come and play a compliment to me. Like, I'm not going to treat you differently because now we have this digital interface in between us. You know, you're still a human being and I will still treat you with kindness if you tell me like, hey, cutie, like at a club, you know, like, and so, you know, I'm not going to be like, please don't, you know, just go away, you know, like, and so like, I don't know why digital fast food, you know, like as you called it earlier, for hookups suddenly like turns us into this fucking animals, you know, like that, like we're like just suddenly not respecting each other or treating each other with kindness. So I think like there's a lot of things that we can do as individuals and also as a group. Like if we all started like improving this, and making sure that like we're treating people with more kindness, I think like we can shift it. We can shift, the hookup culture. We can shift, because I'm all about like if you're horny and there's two consensual, go for it. Like what's the problem with that? But I think like if we can be clear that that's what we need, that's what's going to satisfy us, and also we can treat each other with respect, I think that's where like things can start shifting a little bit for all of us, because I do believe that there's like an epidemic of loneliness. There's an epidemic of sadness within the gay community. Like people feel disconnected. I hear it a lot. I just don't like the gay culture. I'm like, well, you are the culture too. Like, what are you doing for that culture? How are you shifting that culture? Instead of just disassociating from it, because that's also not gonna help you, be better or like feel better. If that like we're getting to a renaissance, I think like I'm hearing it more and more that people just want more, and I don't know if they're thinking about how their actions are contributing to how they're feeling, right? And so I think that's what we want to like demystify a little bit with like therapy, vulnerability, kindness, like I think that's where we're headed.
Nice. Well, I love that analogy of like fast food versus fine dining. I'm more of a fast casual. So I think of it like a Chipotle, right? When you have to go in. And yeah, it's still fast food, but you have to build your own bowl. Yeah. So my intention is to make sure. Right. So there has to be a little bit of a human connection.
Yeah.
I can't get McDonald's because then I'm just going to get a number one. Right. It's like, no. And then I don't want to sit down all the time because that requires a lot of energy. So I'm like in the middle.
Hey, you know what you're looking for, and I think that's kind of what we're talking about is like knowing what it is you're looking for and like communicating about it genuinely.
Right. Yeah. If it makes you happy and you're fulfilled and you're sustained, eat whatever you need. Put the fuel in your life that will actually give you what you need it for. But I think it's when the disconnect happens, when they're like in autopilot and you're not really thinking about it and you're just getting whatever is available without thinking truly like what you really need. I think that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think is a green flag that gay men typically overlook?
Being in therapy.
That's such a good one.
That's just like an
think about this. I know.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good one. Of course, if they tell me they're in therapy, like I'm like, great. At least you know that there are things to improve in each of us. And that sets a baseline and a foundation that is like, I can work with that. Like we can figure shit out.
Yeah.
Because it comes with language that is common, comes with tools and de-escalation, and comes with
introspection,
the ability to learn how to soothe yourself and not just outsource your emotional baggage to someone else to soothe it for you. So that in itself has a big package. But I think like another one for me specifically is consistency. Obviously we talked about communication and being clear and kind and all these things, but like if this person like has the ability to create a pulse for me, where like I'm like, you're there, and and that plays a little bit with my trauma and my upbringing and all that shit. But like if I can feel consistency from someone, I absolutely, my nervous system relax. I'm like, this person is safe, this person is reliable, and that to me is really important.
Love that. Okay, so I think it's time for us to play our rapid fire game. Normally we play not too much, but we're going to do something a little different. I'm calling this game Yes Ma'am, No Ma'am. Yes, and so it is going to be gay dating edition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some traits, and either you say yes ma'am because you love it, or no ma'am because it gots to go.
Okay,
this is going to be fun.
Yes, so it's about 20 traits. And so the first one is texts you good morning every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Second one is he's still friends with most of his exes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am. Can I just say ma'am?
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like that's not a hard turn either direction for me.
Love that. Okay. I know this is going to be yes ma'am, but has a therapist.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hates talking about their feelings.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Loves public affection.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. To a degree, like not overly like too much.
Yeah.
I don't need to be making out, with him between my legs in public, but
yeah,
like,
there's definitely a
there's a
degree
line.
of
there's a line.
There's like
That's
those
where I
guys
was getting to. Okay.
who like are like all over you while you're just like trying to walk, and
Oh
you're
my
like, I
God.
can't move. Why are you
Yeah.
doing this to me?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%
Okay.
a line.
Not looking for anything serious right now.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, no, ma'am.
All right. Knows your love language.
Yes,
For sure, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. Only hit you up after 10 p.m.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. I don't even know that person.
Mm.
No, I'm
Okay.
sleeping. I'm not gonna see
Same.
your text until like I wake up the next morning.
Same. Okay. Is emotionally available, but he's bad at texting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
But I will need to learn about that. Like it probably will be a little bit hard at the beginning, but I have some friends that are terrible at texting, and I just learned their process, and I'm okay with that. But it might be hard to get to that place because if I don't know where you're at, it might just be challenging to get into a more deeper, space.
Love that.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
just say like another ma'am for me, not a yes nor a no yet.
Okay. All right. Next is makes plans in advance.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
God, I
Yes.
love some structure. Give me a man with initiative.
It's so nice to be taken out on a date and not have to do any of the thinking or planning yourself.
I love that. Yeah.
It's great. Yes. Okay. He has a private Instagram account.
Like a private, separate that I don't have access to or will not have access to,
Or that they
It's-
just don't have it on public.
I think it's more of a one that you don't have access to.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Where are you hiding?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I'm really interested to see how this one turns. But trauma dumps on the first date.
It's me.
Listen.
Would you
okay.
date yourself?
And like we need to like. I will preface it like I will not just like dump. I'll be like this actually happened very recently. I had this big emotional thing that happened, and I got on a date like literally right after, and I was like, we're gonna have to talk about something that just happened to me. And I actually took it as a way of like, okay, can this person hold space while I'm having an emotional moment so that then I can actually be present with him. Like, let's see if this person is capable of doing that. And he was amazing. He was really great at just navigating, without him trying to fix it or without him just feeling that I was like being dramatic or anything. But if someone does it to me, I think in the same way, I would just be like, let's hold space. Like, I think I'm always ready to hold space for anybody. Like, whether they're my friends or a date, I'll be like, oh, you need me? Like, I'm all here. Let's just go for it. And I think that's a sign that you can actually deepen a relationship. So yes, ma'am, for me.
All right. Come
Yeah,
on,
I would say
Cynthia
it's
and
another-
Ariana. Come
I'd
on.
say it's another ma'am for me. Yeah.
Holding space.
Hold in space.
Where are you?
Very much like that.
There we go. Yeah, I'd say it's a ma'am for me. It's not a hard turn in either direction. Depends on it,
Mhm.
how it comes out and
Yeah.
how we're able
Yeah.
to like interact with it together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. Next one is he's best friends with his ex.
That one crosses some lines for me. So it's a no, ma'am.
Yeah, again, it's just another ma'am. I would need more information because I think like speaking to like circling back to like Dario's point about like the like kind of confusion that can sometimes happen in the gay community about like, are you a friend? Are you a lover? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think if they figure that out in a healthy way and like have a healthy friendship now, that's like completely platonic. Like it's not a hard no for me. Again, it's a ma'am.
would
We
say-
need more info.
Well, the implication that they're best friends,
Mm-hmm.
that means like you're doing everything together, like you plan road trips together, like that's the implication. If you're friends, all good. In fact, that's a green flag for me that you're able to navigate the challenges of a relationship and end up resolving whatever it is that may you go different ways.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it happens so often in the gay community where like the lovers end up being roommates because they have moved in together and it's so expensive that they cannot move apart. And so like it happens a lot. It's not like a right away red flag, but I want to see like how close are you, and is this just something that you haven't got over it, you know? So
yeah, it certainly raises questions. Like I said, it would be more information required.
It's a yellow flag. It's like, you know,
like
we need more info. Ma'am.
Yep.
Ma'am, question mark?
There you go. Okay.
There, that's the middle ground.
That's the middle one. The next one says he's bad at relationship.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, no, ma'am. Like, what are we doing?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, why? Then what are we doing here? Yeah, exactly.
True. I mean, yep, you have a point. All right. Then we have he can apologize.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
A good apology for me goes so hard. It goes so hard. If I tell you you hurt my feelings, all I need to hear is like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, I won't do it again. That's it. I don't need you to tell me your intentions, how you didn't intend to like hurt me, like, and go into like defensive, like, just if you said those 3 sentences to me, I'm a puppy and we're back in zero, you know, like, but if you don't know how to apologize, it's a huge red flag.
For example, do not apologize for other people's feelings. I'm sorry you feel that way. Get out!
That's a no, ma'am. Okay.
We're thinking that we're gonna do rapid fire without explanations.
Right, like that's
it's the funniest part of this whole
game. It's the funniest thing. It's like, listen, guys, it's different.
This is about as rapid fire as we can get.
This is about as rapid fire as they're gonna get, y'all. Okay, it's not me. I'm loving these answers. The friend group is probably gonna be like, they said it's rapid fire, y'all. Like,
I'm sorry.
Have it in mind. So we're cutting it to like 10 minutes each answer instead of like an hour and a half.
Yeah, you're coming from people whose platform is like 2-part, 4-hour episodes.
Yeah, literally. Seriously. Love this. I live for you guys. Okay, he doesn't believe in labels.
Like what labels? Top and bottom labels?
Boyfriend.
I think it's mostly like, boyfriend, partner, that.
I would probably say no, ma'am, because I think when you're telling me that you like don't believe in labels, I think that this kind of creates this like unrealistic, confusing landscape for like how to communicate about things. Like you're like literally making it impossible to refer to you without like doing some nuanced conversation with somebody. So yeah, that would be a no, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Clarity is kindness. Just be fucking clear, you know.
Love that.
We don't have to use a label, but I need a definition.
Right. No, I mean, I agree. I think I have to know what's happening. Otherwise, 1, I get bored, and 2, I just am like not knowing. Like a part of my personality is like, if I don't know what's going on, I'm out. Like,
right,
I just
exactly.
Need to know.
Like it's likely that I will close off quickly if it becomes very murky, you know, because I'm like, I can't be guessing. Like I need stability.
Yeah, I'm okay. And like relating it to like my personal situation recently, because I would say that I'm not opposed to somebody who's like, I'm not ready to put a label on it or something like that. If you're communicating honestly about that with me, I think that's fine. But yeah, this like inherent like resistance or like refusal of labels is what the concerning part would be for me.
Okay. And then my next one is he only does one position in bed. He's not willing to do another one.
Not willing? Yeah, that's a no, ma'am.
I mean,
if you're not receptive to feedback in the bedroom at all, like...
Oh, wait, we're talking about like sex position, not like top bottom position. Like,
no, top bottom. Like he's only a top or he's only the bottom.
Yes, ma'am, but he has to be a top for me. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess still no, ma'am for me.
Yeah, yeah, got it.
Yeah, I'm a verse boy, and I need a verse boy.
Listen,
I don't have to ever top. I'll be fine with that.
Screaming. So now Dario's like Jhoany because he's like, I'm not topping at all. And I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, so see, there you go. Okay.
I mean, what's really interesting is like when someone tells me that they're only a top, then suddenly I'm like, okay, maybe at the year mark we'll explore some things. But if someone comes in with like I'm verse and like I have to suddenly be in the position where like I'm expected to do it, then that's a no for me.
Okay, that's like me on the bottom. I can't do it. No, I can't. More respect, more power to you.
It's not for everybody.
It's not. It really isn't. Like, it's not. Okay. Next one is he talks future plans with you.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Not too soon. Like that might, yeah. If it takes a minute, like there's another law that you can't make plans for longer than you've been together.
Mhm.
And so, you know, if we've been like seeing each other for 2 weeks, you can't make a plan for next month. Like that's not yet ready. So you can make a plan for the next week maybe, but that's about it.
That's a good law. I think
Yeah.
back to like the first guy who I started going out on dates with like last year, who ghosted me, who did exactly that. He loved bombed, he ghosted,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he
They love
invited
bombing.
me in the second week of us hanging out, invited me to his birthday party 2 months away. So
Yeah, no.
red flag city.
Red flags. Yeah. No, it has to grow exponentially with the length of time that you've been seeing each other, I think.
Mhm.
So it's a ma'am for me. Depends on when.
Ma'am, question mark.
Ma'am.
Love that. Okay, I know what this one's going to be, but I have to ask anyway. He makes you feel emotionally safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So sexy. Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
It turns me on. So like I literally will get hard when someone makes me feel safe.
Oh yeah, it's so funny. Scott and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, I have a love boner right now.
Yeah. I love those.
Love that. Okay, and the last one is he's dating multiple people, but you're his favorite.
This might be the first one where we differ because that's not ma'am question mark. More questions.
Yeah, for me it's definitely a no. Like I can probably tolerate it like at the very beginning, but at some point I'm gonna just need definition and monogamy.
Love that. Okay, so now my last question before I let you two go is what would you tell your younger self about relationships?
Shit.
I would tell my younger self, like, make sure you actually like the person and that they make you feel good, and don't be afraid. And you need to like bring conflict to the table. Like if you're having an issue, you need to bring it up.
I think I would say for me, like first I will clarify my younger self that what I seek is consistency. Like that's very, very important to me. And also to raise my standards in terms of how I'm being treated. I have very, very low standards. And if someone gave me just a breadcrumb of affection, I would just lose my shit. And like it was the bare minimum. So I think like raising my standards to be like you need to know your worth and expect people to see it consistently for a long time before you give everything away. Yeah, that's what I would remind myself.
Love that. All right.
Yeah, such
well,
a
friends,
good question.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. No, I try. I do a little something over here. You know, just a little bit. Well, friends, that has been our episode with Dario and Ryan.
Oh my God, well, it's so fun.
Whether you're in love, in a situationship, or crying on Grindr tonight, remember, you deserve real connection and not just a body and bad communication. So, if you felt seen throughout this entire episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to No Ma'am. But also go check out Live, Laugh, Loads for more gay talk about love, sex, and mental health, because they're doing it over there. So, you guys heard it from us. Until next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Bill. Bye.